Hi everybody, it's Tatiana and today I'm coming to do a book review. Before I get into it, yes, I am wearing the same shirt that I wore in the past few videos that I have uploaded. In case you're wondering, I own multiples of this shirt, so you will see these frequently. I just hadn't been wearing them for videos because I wear them like when I'm running errands and stuff. So yes, it's the same shirt, but I have more than one. So anyway, today I'm coming to do a review of The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by Jacondra Petrus. I hope I pronounced her name correctly. I don't even know where to begin with this book. I will say that it is a YA contemporary lesbian romance. It features two main characters, and they are from different areas. One is from Trinidad. Her name is Audrey, and Mabel is in the US living in, of all places, Minneapolis, which I did not know going into this book. I read this book because Jerry loved it, and then I had it checked out from the library on my Kindle, and then Brittany read it in May and she loved it. So I was like, okay, hold on, I need to read this now. So that's how I came to read it at the point when I did, and I'm so glad that I did, and I totally understand why they loved it. I will say a couple of things that gave me hang-ups about this as I was reading. Number one, it's written in dialect, and it's really hard for me to get dialect as I'm reading it unless I read it out loud. But because I started this during quarantine pages, I don't know why I didn't do that, because we're on mute while we're reading, so I still could have read it out loud, but I didn't do that. So it took a little bit for me to get into Audrey's chapters, but once I got beyond that hurdle for her, I actually assigned a voice to her of someone I know who is Caribbean. And then my hang up with Mabel is that she talked in the book, she talked like a teen, but having a character that talks like a teen in writing was a little bit of a disconnect for me at the beginning, because as someone who like made her side hustle in college editing papers and impressing upon young writers the importance of not writing as you speak, that was a little bit of a of a hang up. But I have to say that having even Mabel's dialect in the book made Mabel's character more real. I don't know at what point it was no longer an issue, but I realized I was reading her chapter and I was like, it's not a problem. And I was more than halfway through. This book is written so beautifully. The story is heart-wrenching. I am not someone who does a lot of crying in books. I cried 3 times. Whoa. There are quite a few stories that are not written by Black authors that cover this same material, and this, in my opinion, is spades above. Being able to relate to these characters, being able to see these families and the relationship that these characters have with their family. Audrey's relationship that she had with her grandmother was so special, and like I could feel it, and it made me miss my own grandmother. That's one of the things that got me a little choked up. That didn't make me cry, but it got me a little choked up because it made me miss my own grandmothers and being able to talk to and share things with them and get insight from them. And then also, as someone who is straight and has never had the experience of having to come out to my parents, but growing up with friends who were not straight and hearing them share those stories, I realize now, as I read this story, that there's like a disconnect, the way that they've disconnected themselves from the telling of their experience, because the experience in this book is just so heartbreaking for all of the characters that are involved. That's pretty much how I'm going to say it, and it doesn't affect any of the characters involved in a positive way. And then the repercussions of it, that was the first like cry point, because even though like I've heard some of the stories, I have heard stories from people who are older than me who came out to their families and the response that they got from their families. But it was, again, somewhat detached because they have removed themselves from that experience. I don't know if I'm explaining this right at all, but to get that experience in this book and have it be so emotional and so visceral and so damaging to the experiences of the characters that are involved in that got to me hard. There is a magical beauty in the relationship that she develops, and by she I mean Audrey, develops with other characters as she goes through this story, and the connection that she builds at a point when she doesn't feel safe. She doesn't feel like she can make those connections, and she manages to open herself up to new people, and the way that it broadens her life and it broadens her experience and it opens her up as a person was really, really beautiful. You really get to see a blossoming of a character in this story, and I can't say enough good about this, and there's very little else that I could tell, but that would not be a spoiler, so I can really only tell you how I felt as I'm reading these experiences that these characters are having. There's a relationship between the two main characters and their parents as the story moves along, and the closeness that they have with their family, the way that, particularly Mabel's family, the way that they understand her, and how open her parents are to her is kind of funny, because it's like these hippie parents who just it seems like they just want to be cool, but the understanding is they want their daughter to feel like the experiences that she has and the things that she loves, she can share with them. And so I understood that as an openness that they had with her, so that Mabel could be who Mabel was, and she didn't have to be Mabel at home, Mabel at school, Mabel with her friends. She could be Mabel everywhere she was. And yeah, there's so much of this. It's not a long book, but there's so much in this story that is just absolutely beautiful and absolutely magical and breathtaking and emotional and gut-wrenching, and you're scared for the characters, you're happy for the characters, you're worried about the characters. It's absolutely beautiful. And at a time where this world is going to shit or wallowing in its shitty self, that's pretty much what's going on. This was a wonderful break from the difficulties that we are experiencing today. And having it set in Minneapolis, and it be so black. Y'all, it's so black. I don't know if there was a single white character in this story, because every single last person that they came into contact with, except for one teacher I don't think is black, but he may have been black, but his name was Trent, so I don't know. His last name was Trent. I don't know. He could have been he could have been black, but his last name was Trent. So I don't know. But it's so steeped in who we are as a people and the many facets of us as a people, and how ignorant we can be, how loving we can be, how we persecute people that we don't understand, and in the same vein we have an appreciation and a love for the unknown. Oh, it's so good. I got nothing else to tell you other than you should read it. So thank you all for watching. Black Lives Matter. Police suck. If you don't know what's going on in New York right now, do some research with the police department in New York and how they are arresting people who are peacefully protesting after curfew, and what they are subjecting those people to, even knowing that they are not going to be prosecuted because the DA has told them that they will not be prosecuted. If you don't know what's going on, do some research and look into that. Again, I'm not going to spoon feed it to you because Google is a thing. Thank you all for watching, and have a good weekend whenever you see this video. Peace out.